guys, what's up? It's Jules Gill here for WhatCulture Wrestling, joined by the one, the only, the man who I just will love to oil up and let inside my ring. It is Phil Chambers.
Working on Saturdays for Fox's sake.
Oh, that's very funny because obviously SmackDown's moved to Friday, so that means we do work on a Saturday now. Oh, that's very clever. But it also is the first time that you and I have been on video on the wrestling channel in a long time.
A long time now.
The last time.
What was the last video we used to do? That little show that went on Fridays? I can't really remember.
I don't know. It had something to do with
something about things happening in the week.
Yeah, something bad. I know it was bad.
About wrestling, probably.
Probably. But still, if we're together, we should bring it back then. Which means, let's hit that jingle.
No, Jules, it's not that show anymore. That is past us. This is now us. This is the news. This is serious business.
Right, we'll get on with it then.
Okay, Randy Orton and the Revival are teasing leaving WWE.
Again? I thought that the Revival, because they trademarked FTR, didn't they?
Yeah, they've been doing this for a while.
They trademarked that, they wore it on their little jocks, and then they basically were just like, oh, right, we are going to leave, and it stands for F the Revival. I won't swear, because there's kids probably watching this.
Randy Orton put that little picture on Instagram the other week of him standing next to a sign that said Elite and tagged like Nick and Matt Jackson in it and things like that.
Yeah, but he's actually friends with them outside of this, though,
well, he just likes teasing people, I think. Yeah. Anyway, he's been back on Twitter.
Okay, fair enough.
Scott Dawson wrote on Twitter, what should have been with a picture of the Revival and Randy Orton, I should note. Thank you, Randy. We'll see you down the road. Hashtag FTRKO. Hashtag top guys at Randy Orton at Dash Wilder.
Right, okay. I'm just putting out there, Randy Orton is probably, he's a lifer. He's probably never going to leave the WWE.
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, he gets paid way too much to do very little when we actually think about it. He's the safest bumper in the world. He's a very boring man, but he is still somehow very, very popular with one person in the office, Ben Roy.
Yeah,
and the thing is
weird.
that like he buys enough of his t-shirts to keep him in business. He's not going to go elsewhere.
Solely responsible for Randy Orton. Anyway, Dash Wilder retweeted Dawson's tweet with saying what will be in capital letters eventually and then Randy Orton retweeted that saying 2020. Now, Randy Orton's contract runs out in summer of 2020. Dash Wilder and Dawson have been teasing for ages that they want to leave and go to AEW.
I know.
It's all the little teasing, Jules.
Yeah, I know it's
teasing.
I know it's a little tease. But in this day and age, that's the problem is that all of these like talent, they all come out and they go, oh, my contract's up soon. Oh, I'm gonna go jump ship.
Randy Orton loves working people like
this. And this thing, like, they do it because of the fact that they know that there's a pay bump coming their way from like the company in order to keep them.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the negative fallout of basically just going, oh, we've lost one of our top stars and the Revival. And like, you know, they're going off there. Because it will go impact negatively on the WWE.
Could you imagine that as an AEW takeover though? Orton and the Revival rocking up on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Orton of all people.
The boring squad.
Anyway, that's probably never going to happen.
No, of course
I mean, the
not.
Revival might. They've been teasing for a long time that they want out. They are not happy in their position.
Yeah,
Orton, on the other hand, is very happy to be paid a lot of money in their company for not doing a great deal.
The last time they did that, though, the Revival got the tag team championship. So
yeah,
I think
and
that
then they got Uzi Hot put in their pants. So it was, swings and roundabouts. They've had highs and lows, ups and downs, some may say.
Check out Simon Miller's show on...
Coming later on today.
Yeah, coming later on today.
Anyway, moving on. There's been a bunch of announcements for next week's Raw and SmackDown shows. The first one, and you'll be excited for this, is
drum roll.
Jerry Lawler's King's Court segment has now become, wait for it, the Divorce Court.
Right, I thought you were going with a completely different direction. I thought you were going to be like, oh, it's going to be like Baron Corbin's coming in to do a special King's Court with that.
It's
a
Divorce Court with Rusev and Lana. So I guess this means they're going to get divorced live on Raw.
Well, to be honest, it'll probably
And then
be
Bobby
cheaper.
Lashley will interrupt the divorce, and then the divorce proceedings won't be able to go fully through because he'll be beating up Rusev, and then they'll just have to be in a love triangle, I guess. I hate this story so much.
Right, any sort of story that involves cucking and anything like that, it's just so boring and overplayed. This is like, it reminds me of, what's that really famous and absolutely trash 80s American show, Dynasty, whatever it's called. It's like a segment off of that. It's just like, oh, I'm in love with him. Oh, no, you're not. This is the stuff that South Park parodied wrestling for.
Yep.
Like, and they still do it in 2019.
And this is all because Rusev wouldn't take Lana to her dream restaurant. It was her dream to go to this restaurant.
Oh,
her dream.
Sorry, the way that you were emphasising dream meant that I thought that it didn't exist.
No, it was actually said on live TV that it was her dream to go to this restaurant. To go to a restaurant. Her dream.
Well, she needs to have higher aspirations.
Just go on your own.
Yeah,
Find someone
I know.
else. Find a different friend.
They're probably on Deliveroo.
Like, it's not hard. Just go to a restaurant.
Awful segment.
Anyway, also
Awful.
on Raw, there's going to be a champion versus champion match as Becky Lynch is going to take on Kairi Sane.
That actually could be really good.
That should be a really fun match. I'm really looking forward to that.
Honest to Christ, I am so in love with Kairi Sane.
Yeah, me too. Big fan.
I would let her drop that elbow in places you can't even imagine.
Moving on, Eric Rowan is going to be taking on Seth Rollins in a Falls Count Anywhere non-title match.
Right.
To help build towards The Fiend versus
because
Seth. I assume The Fiend's just going to interrupt it at some point.
They're doing that whole thing at Crown Jewel, or where it's like falls count anywhere and no
match
stop
cannot
it.
be stopped for any reason.
AKA no
including
DQ.
falls, I assume.
Oh, what?
For any reason.
So technically, this is right. Okay.
They're just going to be wrestling in Riyadh forever now.
Yeah, this is the thing. For the wording that they've done, they have created the never-ending match stipulation. Right.
Never-ending Falls Count Anywhere.
Somebody reminded me of this in about a couple of weeks' time when I come back and do a list, because there'll be a thing of people that never lost, and this will be the first one on it.
What else? On SmackDown next week, there is going to be the Tag Team Champions, The Revival, are going to defend their titles against The New Day.
I don't know where that's going to go with the previous news that we're talking about with them going.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, the captain of Team Hogan, will take on Baron Corbin because Corbin attacked him on a special episode of Backstage on FS1 last night. Fair enough.
I mean, we have seen...
That's been coming
We've
recently.
seen Corbin and Roman Reigns fighting a fair bit, though, over the past few months.
Yeah, they've been building it again. It's fair, whatever.
To be honest, they work well together. It's just, unfortunately, they only have, like, a limited moveset between them, so it kind of just always devolves into the same match.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Finally, possibly the biggest news, a Miz TV segment with
What? Stop getting...
Bray Wyatt on Miz TV.
Wait, hold on. Did it actually say Bray Wyatt, or does it say The Fiend?
Well, he's got a picture of Bray Wyatt in the graphic.
Oh, Christ. They've really dropped the ball with this character at the moment.
That Firefly Funhouse segment last night was not good.
It was gash.
Yeah, they didn't really reference the fire at all, apart from they just had a funeral for Rambling Rabbit.
Who then came back.
Who, he then brought back to life. Although there was a weird bit when Bray Wyatt, like, kissed his wounds, which was very odd. Came back to life, and then the buzzard ate him, and that was it. They didn't really reference A, how Seth found the Firefly Funhouse, B, how it's magically fixed, C, they didn't really reference the fire or the fact that he burnt it down. They didn't move that story on in any way, shape, or form. He basically only said, Rambling Rabbit's back, Rambling Rabbit's dead, see you at Crown Jewel.
There was a very easy fix for this. Seth Rollins should never be allowed to find the Firefly Funhouse because the Firefly Funhouse technically should not exist.
It's
in his head. Yes, exactly. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that Seth brought reality into that situation. He ruined it.
They could have maybe explained it by, like, ooh, Seth's managed to get in the Fiend's head, and normally it's the other way around, but they just did none of that. There was no storytelling, there was no nuance, there was nothing. It was just, it's back.
Awful, and I'm going to be very disappointed if Bray is there. I enjoy Bray's character at the moment as the sort of Mr. Rogers thing. I enjoy that he's like overtly positive, but I think that in a real life situation, under the scrutiny of all those people, his shtick won't work because it will come across as really, really like awkward, I feel.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Lacey Evans had a match against a jobber last night on SmackDown. She basically came in, said, ooh, you're an Essie, I'm not going to fight you, and made the ref start the count, wandered off, and then at the count of 9, she ran back in, punched her in the face, pin, 1, 2, 3, off she went.
I mean, if you're going to build Lacey Evans up to be some sort of unstoppable monster, that is great.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of her, but that's fine.
Me neither. But anyway, her opponent's identity has been revealed. It is...
Wait, what, was she wrestling in a mask or with a bag over it?
It is Cameron Branay, I want to say. If I've said that wrong, I apologise profusely. And she wrestles for Evolve, apparently.
Oh, that's cool. So they brought in a talent from outside to...
get punched in the face.
Right, okay, cool. So that's weakened her stock immensely.
Well, she didn't really have any stock, because...
Well, Evolve is good.
But only Evolve in it doesn't really matter to WWE.
Well, that's it matters to indie.
She'll use her eventually.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, not great. When they say, you know, that whole thing about how you get 5 seconds of fame. Well, she got 10 seconds.
She'll probably be back at some point.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Anyway, moving on to Impact Wrestling news. A bunch of stars have got pay rises after Bound for Glory card. It's a way of Impact giving back, saying thanks. They've got this new position on Access TV.
Yes, they've got yet another TV deal, haven't they?
So a bunch of the sort of lower to mid-card people have been given pay rises. Some of the wrestlers we've been told received a pay increase include Ethan Page, Josh Alexander, The Rascals, Ace Austin, and Jessica Havoc, and more.
This is actually a very positive thing because of the fact that with TNA needs to, and Impact Wrestling needs to exist right now, because aside from AEW, it's not much of a competitive field, and with the WWE putting out so many different products, like you've got your NXT UKs and all the other stuff that they're doing. This is a great sort of alternative for that. And unfortunately, the WWE is kind of acting like a vacuum, and with AEW as well, that they're going to suck up all these talents, so they have to do stuff like this to keep talent in-house. I hope that this translates into a better quality of show, because it would be a shame if they got all of this extra money from the Access TV deal, yet they still didn't manage to push that out into actually making the matches and the audience feel more involved in what's going on.
I think Impact have a bit more of a buzz lately than they have in quite a while. Obviously, it's always great to have as many places as possible for the guys to work.
I watched Miller's Ups and Downs for Bound for Glory, and it actually seemed like a really, really good card. I was just like, oh, fair play, that's good.
Yeah. And hopefully this means good things in the future, if they're being able to give the guys pay rises, a little bit better quality of life for those people there.
Oh yeah,
it shows good things going forward.
I never enjoyed crapping on Impact Wrestling when it was going through its tumultuous things, but it just seemed there was no sort of clear direction at the helm, and I'm hoping that that's something they're going to fix as well. I would love it if they actually turned around, and I know that this is going against sort of giving pay rises to the talent, which is not what I'm saying, but if they use that money to hire more creative directors and better script writers and stuff, get the angles in, because in this day and age, when you look at WWE with absolutely piss poor storytelling, as we've just exampled, and AEW, who is definitely focusing more on the in-ring action than the out-of-ring stuff, because the promo time is way down. TNA and Impact, I keep on calling them TNA just because that's how I remember them, is in a position where they could scoop up the sort of best written wrestling drama on TV.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that they should probably be looking at to fill. But that's just my insider information, and I don't own a promotion, and the one that we did have has gone down the toilet, so...
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Anyway, finally, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer has written that Omega versus Joey Janela on this week's AEW Dynamite was added last minute by Tony Khan because of the amazing reaction that their match on AEW Dark got.
Well, who would have thought that one of the two of the most popular wrestlers in the entire business would put on an exceptional match?
Who would have thought?
And
the match they had on Dynamite was also great and very different at the same time, which is lovely.
I love the format of the way they're doing this, with Dark being the sort of YouTube show, and then you've got Dynamite being the TV show. I really think that they've got a great ability to capture so many different audiences.
I wonder where they got that idea of putting wrestling on YouTube from.
Don't know indeed.
Anyway, I'm out of news now.
Oh, well, there we go. That has been the not insane,
just news.
Just news.
Just things happening in wrestling today.
We'll give it a slightly different spin, so it's the most...
It's not quite as catchy
the
as it
most
used to be.
excitable things happening in news.
Yeah.
And that's been the most excitable things happening in news this week. I'm not going to be back next week, which kind of ruins any sort of series format, because I'm going to Luca, which is a big board game and comic book convention, because I'm a big nerd.
So who knows who will be here next week? It'll be me and probably on my own, maybe. Or Adam Cleary, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you next week for some news. And when I say that, I mean we, as in the Queen's we, as in not me. And that's been the news. So you can follow me at RetroJ0 over on Twitter, and you can follow Phil at
Phil My Chambers.
Indeed you can. You were going to say something before I interrupted you.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Neither can I. So
just end the video now.
Yeah, cool. All right, catch you later, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Too much jewels.
It's time for some Saturday news. With Phil and Jules.
You done, Scatman?
Just looks like I was jacking off in your face a little bit there. Anyway, hey guys, what's up? It's Jules here for WhatCulture Wrestling, joined by Phil, and that is our intro. Yes.
I hate Saturdays.